BGI TV yìí mo fẹ́ máa wò, ọ̀rọ̀ tó jẹ tí ń gbèsè mo fẹ́ gbọ́, ètò lóríṣiríṣi wọ́n wà lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan, ìròyìn tó kojú òṣùwọ̀n àtàwọn ọ̀rọ̀ àgbọ́ fi kọ́gbọ́n, eré wọlé fún tẹ̀rù tọmọ tèwe tàgbà ẹ má fi para. BGI TV mo fẹ́ máa wò, ọ̀rọ̀ tó jẹ tí ń gbèsè mo fẹ́ gbọ́, ètò lóríṣiríṣi wọ́n wà lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan, ìròyìn tó kojú òṣùwọ̀n àtàwọn ọ̀rọ̀ àgbọ́ fi kọ́gbọ́n, eré wọlé fún tẹ̀rù tọmọ tèwe tàgbà ẹ má fi para. Àdànà kú kọjá mórí nǹkan fèrè, bàbá rere káwí parí. BGI TV, we are the pace setters. Bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ tẹlifíṣọ̀n station tí dòde.
Mo kí gbogbo ojú tó wò mí káàkiri ayé, mo kí wa lọ́kùnrin lóbìnrin lọ́mọdé lágbà nínú ilé yìí, mo kí wa pa kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Àsìkò bójú ọjọ́ ti rí ẹdẹ ọdún bí bóun ló ti rí lọ́dọ̀ tí yín o. Báyọ̀ nǹkan fìdílé tàbí kẹ́ fìdílé nǹkan kẹjá jẹ̀gbádùn ọ̀rọ̀ tó lọ ti tòní. Tá a gbédé láti ìkànnì BGI TV bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ tẹlifíṣọ̀n. Látẹnu èmi Aláwìyé Adébáyọ̀ Sàbúrì ọmọ bàbá tíṣà Lábẹ́kúta, ẹni tí gbogbo yín mọ̀ sí bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀. Ojú tẹ́ kú fi wò mí ò ní fọ́, etí tẹ̀sí fi gbọ́ mi, etí náà ò ní di lágbára Ọlọ́run ọba Elédùmarè. Ẹ máa bá wa buwọ́ lu àwọn gbogbo handles wa lórí Facebook wa gbàgede ìmọ̀ with Aláwìyé Adébáyọ̀, lórí YouTube wa bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ TV, lórí Instagram ńkọ́ gbàgede ìmọ̀ _22, ní orí TikTok à ń jẹ́ bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀. Lónìí lánàá mo promise wa fún ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wo fídíò wa tá a ṣe lánàá, mo promise wa wípé lágbára Ọlọ́run ọba lónìí mo máa gbé àwọn gbàǹkọ̀gbàǹkọ̀ fídíòs kan wá, máa ṣe fídíò kan tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo wa ò fi mọ ipò wo la wà láàrin àwa àti Fúlàní, láàrin àwa àti Northerners, ká lè mọ̀ pé thread ti wà fún Yorùbá ọjọ́ ti pẹ́. Kò sí nǹkan méjì tó fà á, ìbẹ̀rù ni. Wọ́n mọ agbára tó wà lọ́wọ́ Yorùbá, wọ́n mọ kí ni Yorùbá lè ṣe, wọ́n mọ báwo ni Yorùbá ṣe kàǹkà tó, wọ́n mọ intellectual capacity wa, wọ́n mọ̀ pé IQ wa, intelligent quotient wa ó wà very 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 high. So the other tribes are very very afraid of Yorubas. Wọ́n fẹ́ kó jẹ́ pé kí nǹkan jọ dà wá pọ̀, wọ́n mọ̀ pa máa ẹ̀jà wọn. Àǹkan tó dẹ̀ fà ojú wípé láti ìgbà tán ti ṣe regional government, the best government so far tí Yorùbá ever enjoy, regional government. Wọ́n rí ìtú tí Yorùbá pa, wọ́n rí agbára tí Yorùbá ní, ẹ̀rù wa ń bà wọ́n. And that was the rationale behind nǹkan tí Nnamdi Azikiwe ṣe pẹ̀lú Tafawa Balewa against bàbá wa Awólọ́wọ̀ níjọ́ kìíní àná. Ẹ̀rù ló ń bà wọ́n. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ibi good news tá a ní yìí. Mo ń sọ gbogbo ìgbà pé báwa ṣe ń játọ́ wa ń bí tá a rò pé kò wúlò. Àwọn tó wò wá ju àwọn tá a rò pé ń wò wá lọ. Àwọn tó wò wá gbogbo ẹ̀yà mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta ló ń wo Yorùbá, ló ń wo presentation wa, ló ń wo gbogbo sensitization programs tá à ń ṣe, ìlara ẹni lójú àti ìgbèrè ẹni níyànjú tí à ń ṣe lórí àwọn programs wa. Eléyìí ti wá lọ reflect nígbésí ayé àwọn Haúsá náà débi pé ojú wọn náà ti wá là, àwọn náà ti wá sọjí, wọ́n ti tají ìgbésí ayé wọn pé ẹ gbọ́ àṣà ń gọra wa lóòótọ́ ni. Fúlàní ti gba gbogbo nǹkan mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́, gbogbo òpó kódà mò ń sọ ní gbogbo ìgbà, fídíò tí máa fi hàn wáyé, fídíò yẹn gbè mí níjà pé òótọ́ ló ń sọ. Mo sọ fún wa pé gbogbo tó jẹ́ governorship pátá, president ni o, governor ni o, àwọn chief imam ni o, àwọn lọ́balọ́ba ni o, ní north àwọn Fúlàní ló gbà. Máyì jẹ́ kó yé wa pé kò sí president kan tó jẹ́ Nàìjíríà tẹ́ máa sọ pé Northerner ló jẹ́ o, ó ní Fúlàní ni kì í ṣe Haúsá. Ọláhúsá ò dépò rí ní Nàìjíríà yìí. Ó lásìkò tí wá tó ń sìn fún àwọn láti gbàjọba kúrò lọ́wọ́ Fúlàní láti jẹ́ káyé mọ̀ pa àwọn àti Fúlàní àwọn òjọ́ sí àwọn òjọ́ ṣe pọ̀. Ó láwọn máa ń wọ́ndà wọn tó jẹ́ pé tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ pe Haúsá ó ní Fúlàní ni ó yọjú ṣùgbọ́n àwọn èèyàn sọ pé àwọn Haúsá ó láwùsá ọ̀tọ̀ Fúlàní ọ̀tọ̀ ó láwọn òjọ́ ṣe pọ̀. Thanks to Yorubas ọ̀làjú tó dé báwọn yẹn náà ṣebí yìí tí Yorùbá ń ṣe yìí ni àwọn yíyarí táwa yarí pé rárá o àgbà kan máa pa wá bọ́n ṣe ń pa wá yìí o torí pé àjọ tán o ojú tí wọn náà wá là. Kódà má yìí sọ débi pé ní Sokoto ó ní àwọn communities Fúlàní wà lọ́tọ̀ communities Haúsá wà lọ́tọ̀. Ó ní látijọ́ tí wọ́n ti ń pààyàn Boko Haram ni o x-men ni o tán ti ń pààyàn ní Sokoto o ó ní community Haúsá nìkan ni. Ìta gbé wá ní ìjọ Monday ìyẹn ló sọ pé Fúlàní ò pa less than 80 million Hausas so far tán ti pa pé wọ́n pa less than 80 million wọn ò dẹ̀ fọwọ́ kan Fúlàní ẹgbẹ́ wọn. Gbogbo àwọn tó ń pa Katsina tá a gbọ́ yẹn àwọn Hausa community ni. Gbogbo àwọn tó ń pa ní Zamfara Hausa community ni. The same thing ni wọ́n extend dọ́dọ̀ wa ń bí. So tá a bá ń pariwo wípé enough of Fulani hegemony, enough of Fulani tyrant, táwa kan wá dìde ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pé ẹgbẹ́nu sọ́hùn Fulani yẹn gan la fẹ́ in tó ṣẹlẹ̀ rèé o. Àwọn tọ́rọ̀ kan gangan sọ fún wa pé wọ́n ń ṣara àwọn wọn lójú àwọn ti là àwọn ò bá wọn ṣe mọ́. Ẹ jẹ́ n fi tí wọ́n yẹn bẹ̀rẹ̀. Lẹ́yìn yẹn kí n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá proof ẹ̀ fún wa ìwà ìdá ìwẹ́ ní bí táwọn Fúlàní tí wọ́n ṣe fún wa àti pápẹ́ tí wọ́n ti set up fún wa, most especially nígbà àkọ́kọ́ tí Yorùbá ò bá jẹ president ní Nàìjíríà láyé Abíọ́lá. He came close, he won convincingly, and the most fairest and the best election ever conducted in Nigeria. Everybody knows. In fact, Babangida fúnra rẹ̀ confirm. But unfortunately, wọn jẹ́ kó débẹ̀. Ntó wá fà tí ó fi débẹ̀ instruction látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn Fúlàní ni. Tí n bá wá ka àwọn nǹkan tí máa kà yẹn kẹ́yìn tẹ́ ẹ gbọ́ mi náà kẹ́ wá fi mọ̀ kójú yín náà tún fi là sí wípé ọ̀tá wa ní Fúlàní lóòótọ́ wọ́n ti bá aṣọ ta ti pẹ́. Àwa dẹ̀ wà ń bẹ̀ táwa pariwo wọ́n Nàìjíríà we are one Nàìjíríà ṣe rọ́ ni. Àṣẹ Fúlàní ò rí wa bí èèyàn rárá, àṣẹ wọ́n ti rí wa bí ìran, wọ́n rí wa bí ẹrú, wọ́n rí wa bí ọmọ ọ̀dọ̀ táwọn colonize. Àwa náà dẹ̀ dúró lórí colonization wọn, adẹ̀jọ́ ń parọ́, adọ́ ń pariwo wọ́n Nàìjíríà àmọ̀ pé nǹkan tó ń ṣe fún wa ọ̀tọ̀, àmọ̀ pé nǹkan tó ń gbà lérò ọ̀tọ̀. Thanks to all these sensitization programs tó lọ, thanks to social media tọ́lọ́ fi jẹ́ kí information yẹn kárí torí tẹ́lẹ̀ orí rédíò náà láti gbọ́. Bí mélòó wá ní rédíò fẹ́ kárí lẹ́yìn state radio stations káàkiri. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ní tán lè sọ because wọ́n máa ti regulate wọn. NBC máa ti kọ́ ó ti máa regulate tán lè sọ jáde síta. President tó bá wà lórí oyè radio station tó bá máa tẹ́ bá máa gbọ́ in tó fẹ́fọ́ ẹ̀nà gbọ́dọ̀ sọ. Kò dàbí ayé ìsìn tó jẹ́ pé bí rédíò bá fọ́nbù ẹ̀ gbà sírí lórí social media bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Owó máa ṣe kówó náà kówó jẹ láàrin ìṣẹ́jú kan gbogbo ayé ti gbọ́ the whole world ti wò. Gbogbo ara wa tó wà lu òyìnbó wà l'Amẹ́ríkà wà London wà Spain wà káàkiri gbogbo wọn ti gbọ́ information. Kí ló fà? Thanks to social media. Social media ẹ wá jẹ́ kó ju wá láǹsìn wípé ibi tí bàtà ti ta wá lẹ́sẹ̀ ni àfikọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá jígìrì ká tún ibẹ̀ ṣe láì ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ọlọ́mọ ẹ̀ kí bàtà yẹn padà bu wa lẹ́sẹ̀. Ọdún mẹ́jọ ọmọ Yorùbá la wà yìí, lẹ́yìn ọdún mẹ́jọ ọmọ Yorùbá Fúlàní àtúnpadà ó làwọn Haúsá wá yarí fún yẹn pé rárá ètò ẹgbà tẹ́ ẹ ti gbapò àwọn ti tó ẹgbọ́n kan tí máa yìí sọ mò ń bọ̀.
to give you a history that you all know and the future that is about to happen. Today, we have this saying that all the North, especially our brothers from the East, they used to call us the Hausas, generally in the North. But we want to tell you something. We, the Hausas, we have differentiated ourselves now from the Fulanis. Yes, this is why I want you to stay. Pause first and share the video to go so that some people should know. The Hausa people now are against the Fulani people squarely. It is nothing you can do about this now. And you know, from the beginning to whatever it is, the Fulani people has been ruling this country, not the Hausa people. The Fulani has emirates everywhere around the north, not we the Hausa people. Now, there is something that happened that I want to tell you that is the future. You know, the Hausas, we the Hausas have given up on the Fulanis, and like it is, we are having some clash. I want to tell you this clash now is the clash of the titans, because something happened within the Fulanis. We know we in the Sokoto state, we have villages. Some villages belong to the Fulanis and some villages belong to the Hausas. All the attack in Sokoto state, there is no one attack in the villages of the Fulani people. It's all in the Hausas, and now the Hausas have already opened their eyes. They are now aware of what is happening. There is one attack that happened last 2 weeks. I want to tell you that comes about all of these things. It is the attack that happened, the Fulani man and the Hausa. We the Hausa, we don't wear cow, we don't rear anything that, but rather we farm, we grow crops. Now the Fulani man came and then entered to someone's farm. This is the rainy season time. Entered to somebody's farm, ate the crop, and the man now plant something and now put a poison the cow. The following day, the Fulani kingdoms are waiting for him in his farm. When he came, they killed him at once. That is what triggered this unity now between the Hausa and the Fulani. And when you see us now, we are ready to change everything. In all the political parties in Nigeria, that you see a Hausa man going out around campaign, go and check, it's a Fulani man, not a Hausa man. A Hausa man has not ruled this country. We have been in peace before Usman Fodio come to Nigeria. He has come and then divide us from our brothers, the real Nigerians, the Igbos, the Yoruba, and the Hausas. Now the Fulani has taken over everything from us. They have deceived our great-grandfathers, they deceived our grandfathers, they deceived our fathers, and now it is our time. Thank God for the social media that you can hear this and share. Let it go viral to everywhere so that people will know that there is a division now between the Hausa and the Fulani. And I'm telling you, next segment you see what we want to tell you from this video so that you understand that there is really a division. Like I was saying, we should try and share the video so that it will go viral. As you are listening, you a Hausa man that have listened to this thing, yanzu akwai bambanci da Fulani da Bahaushe. Ni ina tabbatar ma akwai bambancin kuma shine yanzu nan mun gane Fulani suna ta kashe mu a banza. They have been killing us. And we should not take religion something to take it like it is okay. Okay, if it is fighting for religion, why are they killing the Hausas? Why are they killing us, the Hausas? It is not supposed to be so. And that's why I'm telling you now, the Igbo, the Yoruba, the Hausas are the major tribes in Nigeria. We should not be left out. People will be telling you that Fulani Hausa, there's nothing like Fulani Hausa. It is Fulani and there is Hausa. There's nothing. So share this video, let it go to places, let it go to especially the Hausa groups. If you have all these Hausa groups, please share it so that people will see. Even though you want to in the market, just share it so that somebody will know that yes, there is something that is going on in the revolution. Thank you.
Èmi kọ́ ni mo sọ o, ẹ̀yin náà fi ti ara yín gbọ́ lẹ́nu ẹ̀ o. Ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ sí sáwọn Haúsá lẹ̀ ń gbọ́ yìí. Ẹ̀rí bí fídíòs oríṣiríṣi tá a ti ń gbé wá pé aláwọ̀ Haúsá sọ pé lásìkò yìí no more Fulani hegemony, no more Fulani killings, no more inhabitants of Fulani in our land. Wọ́n láwọn ò fẹ́ wọn mọ́ kí wọ́n máa bá ti wọn lọ. Wọ́n lójú àwọn náà ti là. 2027 tí Abiola tí Tinubu bá tún padà síbẹ̀ tó bá padà lópo ẹ̀tàn wọ́n láwọn ò gbà mọ́ Fulani ò lè lu àwa tiẹ̀ ti lọ ńgbà yẹn wájọ wọn kan jọ ṣe ra wọn sí. Lẹ́yìn ọdún mẹ́jọ Tinubu lágbára Ọlọ́run kó tiẹ̀ tó lọ́dún mẹ́jọ ẹ̀tàn hùn àwa Yorùbá ti ṣe kéde àti get out lágbára Ọlọ́run. Process ẹ̀ náà kò ṣe by force, kò ṣe by túláàsì, kò ṣe by ìjà, kò ṣe by gbogbo orú tútù kí ló ń pè àdòdúpẹ́ dagboru ṣe yẹn àwọn ò ní ṣe gbogbo yẹn. We are going to slow and steady wins the race. We are going to follow all the protocols. And gbogbo time all the protocols must met between now and second term of Baba Tinubu. Because lẹ́yìn Tinubu yóò bá jẹ bótó ya o. Wàláì wọ́n á gbọ́n oróyìn apọ̀ wọ́n á rán oróyìn apá. And mark you, the way they are playing their games now, àwọn Fulani wọ́n tún ti strategize bó ṣe máa jẹ́ pé Tinubu ò nílò ọdún mẹ́rin lọ. They can't withstand it kí Yorùbá máa control àwọn. I will read it for you. Gbogbo àtàn sọ pé Abiola ó kówó Babangida ná olófà tí Babangida ó kọ́ ó ní instruction táwọn northerners fún Babangida, ó ní instruction sí Sultan of Sokoto fún Babangida, the then Sultan of Sokoto. Gbogbo àwọn northern elders forum ó ní instruction tí wọ́n fún Babangida. It even got to a stage Babangida was ready láti sá kúrò Nàìjíríà kó fìjọba lẹ̀ kó sá lọ nígbà tí ó wà ní state of dilemma tí ó mọ nǹkan tó lè ṣe mọ́. Instruction láti north ó ring bells leva. It got to a stage gbogbo àwọn ọmọ lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn boys ẹ̀ tó kó kiri wọ́n lọ lè èsì mọ́ Yíbò. Máa ká gbogbo ẹ̀ fún wá sí David Mark tí gbogbo yín pọ́lé. David Mark tó wá ṣe senate president bí ẹ̀mẹ́fà bẹ́ẹ̀ mẹ́rin ẹni aburú láyé àtọ̀run ni. I am stand to be corrected. Ní tí mo fẹ́ kàyè mi kúkọ̀ mo kọ́ ẹ gbọ́ gbogbo àṣírí yẹn sìn. I shoot Abiola the day NEC pronounces his name, pronounces him the elected president, Brigadier General David Mark. David Mark tó ṣe tó wá padà ṣe senate president tóun náà enjoy democracy nígbà tó wà ní iṣẹ́ army lẹ́gbọ́ yìí tó sọ pé ìjọ tí NEC bá lè ṣe mistakenly announce Abiola pẹ́rẹ́ máa yìnbọn pa ni. David Mark kí ló wá fà tó fi sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ àkà. Extract from the tale of June 12, the betrayal of the democratic rights of Nigerians, 1993. Author Professor Omoruyi ọmọ Ẹdó ní kìí ṣe ọmọ Yorùbá o. Professor Omoruyi olókọ write up yìí ló lọ extract láti inú ìwé kan tí wọ́n pè ní the extract from the tale of June 12, the betrayal of the democratic rights of Nigerians, 1993. Inú ìwé yẹn náà ti lọ extract jáde kẹ́yìn ọmọ Yorùbá wá listen kẹ́gbọ́n tó ṣẹlẹ̀. Scene 2. President unburdened his heart to me. President unburdened his heart to me. Ẹnìkan ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí o. The venue was the presidential villa, residence and office, and the subject was to explore options in the face of annulment of the election that was in the offing. The main actors were General Babangida, General Dogoyaro, and myself. This was not the first time General Babangida and I met like this. We met in Minna in early August 1985 to review how he was to proceed with a transition program scheduled the coup contemplated in 1985 to review how he was to proceed with a transition program should the coup contemplated in August succeed. We met in Lagos in August/September 1985 to review how he was to proceed with a transition program should the coup contemplated in August succeed. We met in Lagos in August/September 1985 after he had succeeded and had become president over the steps he should take to evolve a transition program. We met again in Lagos over the political bureau report and worked out what to do with the report. Again, we met in Lagos over the steps he should take to get a transition program put together from the report of the political bureau and the report from the white paper committee. General Babangida and I met at other times over the following issues: the evolutions of two-party system and the creation of the Center for Democratic Studies, the setting up of the Constitution Review Committee, the composition of and charge of the Constituent Assembly, the productions of the white paper on the report of the Constituent Assembly, the drafting of the argument for the creations of states, the banning or disqualifications of persons, the inaugurations of the National Assembly, the setting up of the National Defense and Security Council and the Traditional and Transitional Council, among other major policies issues in 1993 concerning the presidential election. In all these issues, our meetings and papers produced formed the basis of the policies of his government. It was not therefore unusual for the president to invite me to think with him in how to get out of the dilemma in which he found himself after the suspensions of the election process and the injunctions of the NEC by various courts in the Southwest and Abuja, and the decisions of NEC to appeal to the Federal Court of Appeal. I also thought that he wanted to discuss the diplomatic impasse he might have created by not seeing the British High Commissioner to accept the letter from Mr. John Major, the British Prime Minister. I could not think of the US reacting to the impasse because the US seemed to have faded away after the incident of June 11. My mind also went to the possibility, nevertheless, of a fresh threatening messages from the US. I could not rule out the US. My mind went to the memorandum of June 20, see chapter 4, in which I raised many issues bordering on the president's inability to assume moral leadership in the face of the apparent derailment of the transition program and the sidelining of the country into chaos, and the sliding of the country into chaos. This turned out to be the subject of the meeting. It was clear when I entered his office that he had lost command to control of the situation. He, in fact, confessed this to me the first time he was making such a confession since I knew him. He pleaded that he needed help to find a solution to a complex problem which he did not quite understand. It was also clear to me, but unfortunately not to my fellow Nigerians, that the country was without a president that had authority either over the military nor over the civilians. One wondered what would have happened if the political class had been united and pressed for the conclusions of the transition program. But the political class was part of the problem. It was also not clear to the international community that Nigeria had no effective government at this time. Why did the international community not issue statements supporting the June 12 elections, even though they had the results? General Babangida knew he could purchase the political class, but he knew that the international community was not purchasable. The president had no moral courage to call his boys to order, having lied to them about Chief MKO Abiola at the onset. These boys had now bypassed him and formally linked up with the anti-democratic element in the north, working in concert with some Igbo leaders who felt that the time had come for them to avenge what they thought the Yoruba had done to them during the civil war. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ support Obi, tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ kó Obi wá jẹ president, ẹ máa gbọ́ bí báyìí dáadáa. This is what the Igbos still hold, the grudges they still hold in their heart against Yorubas. If any one of them should attain that post, tí Yorùbá dẹ̀ ṣì wà láàrin Nàìjíríà, á jẹ bótó yà. Bóbi bá wọlé adáràn, bí Fúlàní bá wọlé agbé. Now, General Babangida was now a victim of this web of intrigue, and he thought he needed help to take control of the situation, not to reverse it since he could not. Once inside his office, he locked the door. He welcomed me with a strong appeal to my loyalty, which I assured him was constant. I assured him that my loyalty to him as a friend should never be a doubt. He looked very worried. He removed his shoes and cap and confessed that his wife did not know where he was at that time, and he drove himself from Minna that morning just to talk to me. Does he expected me to be frank with him? As I had thus, he expected me to be frank with him as I had always been. He went on, I have not seen my wife or briefed her of what I had been going through in the past 3 days. I urged him to unburden his heart to me, and I assured him that I would be as frank as possible, but that he would have to be open with me. For a few minutes, he remained speechless and looked morose. The situation in which I saw him could only be compared with the situation in which I found him in 1985, when he was agonizing over what to do during the days preceding his decisions to overthrow General Muhammadu Buhari's military regime. Just as he did on that occasion, he pleaded with me to advise him on how to free himself from the dilemma in which he found himself. On both occasions, he used the same choice of words. I see disaster for myself and my family. Where do I go now? He asked. Professor, we must find a solution here and now, or else I am finished. He concluded, the operative clause is, we must find a solution. Meaning that he wanted me to work with him, or he was relying on me for a solution. I did this with him in the past, and he is expected me to do it again with him in this June 1993. General Babangida proceeded to recount all that we did together in the past, and pleaded that I should see him through this stage. I urged him again to unburden his heart and speak as freely as he always did, so that we could discuss the issue. I assured him that there was no political problem that had no solution. He cut in to say that the issue facing him was not political, but had to do with his life, his family's life, and even the life of his close friends, including me. Still, he was hesitant in addressing the question. Suddenly, he got up and reached for the door, making sure that it was well secured. He unhooked his telephones and some security equipment, except the security line which linked him to the service ships. I was not surprised with this kind of behavior. I had gone through this with him before. It was clear to me that he was in trouble, more serious than I had imagined. Gbogbo àwa tá rò pé Babangida ló mọ̀ àjọ June 12 òun kọ́. Condition tó wà rèé nígbà tó gba instruction lọ́dọ̀ àwọn northerners, lọ́dọ̀ àwọn northern elders forum, àwọn Fulani, that he must not let that election proceed. He must not allow them to proceed. The NEC, nígbà yẹn NEC wọn kì í jẹ́ INEC nígbà yẹn. Ayé Ọbásanjọ́ ni wọ́n dá INEC. NEC ni wọ́n jẹ́ National Electoral Commission náà jẹ́. Later ni wọ́n fi independent kún náà di INEC. Wọ́n wá instruct ẹ̀ pé kò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ kí NEC continue pẹ̀lú result election tó ń kà ó. Wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ ka result ẹ bá rántí. Ẹ rí i pé Ọ̀fínwósù ó ka result yẹn débì kan ni wọ́n stop ẹ̀. Wọ́n dídì pè sásọ̀rọ̀ tán fún instruction pé kó stop announcement of that election. Ever kí Babangida tó wà náà June 12. So instruction tó gbọ́ yẹn ló ń dà láàmú yìí ni ò mọ kí ló lè ṣe. Ó bẹ̀rù kí Nigerians máa yarí fóun. Ó bẹ̀rù káwọn northerners máa pa òun. He was not in the middle at the crossroad. He doesn't know what to do again. Ló fi pé professor yìí náà fi jọ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹja máa bá lọ. I was also deeply concerned for my own safety. This was a new angle which he said brought in. I narrowly missed the Oka coup in 1990. I asked myself, was a bloodthirsty coup maker around? Okay, I was not surprised with this kind of behavior. I had gone through with him before. With him before. It was clear to me that he was in trouble, more serious than I had imagined. I was also deeply concerned to my own safety. This was a new angle which he had brought in. I narrowly missed the Oka coup in 1990. I asked myself, was a bloodthirsty coup maker around? But the coups that occurred in the past did not happen in a broad daylight. He again kept quiet for some time, and I pleaded with him. The third time to speak his mind to me. He then gave me a pad from his table to take notes. Of course, I thanked him and I pointed out that I had a pad and my memory to cope with the issues that would arise from the meeting. General Babangida opened with the following words, which I jotted down as closely as possible, word for word. 1. He said, "They will kill me, they will kill me. The president-elect Shifemke Wabiola, if I went ahead with the elections and I announced the winner of the election, which we all know to be Bashorun, Shifemke Wabiola." Babangida ló sọ̀rọ̀ yo, Shifemke Wabiola. I know so. I am not daft. He won. He tried. I feel bad about the whole matter. 2. Professor, I do not see how they will spare you because they know that you are my principal confidant. You think they do not know you? They know. They know you are with me now. They saw you coming in and they know you are with me now. He then paused and asked for my views. I started by saying that I sympathized with him. I assured him that I would be the last person to see him or his family dead in the hand of this unknown they. Who are these they? I then asked, who are these they? They, and what are your crimes? Is a coup imminent? Before he could reply, I spoke again. If a coup is imminent and you cannot stop it, then don't resist. I cancelled him. Call them and hand over and spare your life. If that is what they want, I pleaded. Is that what they want? I asked. It was at this stage that he confessed that he had misled his boys. He has assured them that he would be able to stop Shifemke Wabiola before the process reached the stage of election. Ṣé ń gbọ́? ẹ̀wọ̀n tó ti plan lẹ̀ fún Yorùbá tí Yorùbá ò mọ̀ síwájú kan tó ṣe primary election rárá ó làwọn northerners ti yarí fún Babangida pé má jẹ́ kábíọ́lá contest rárá ó wá sọ fún wọn pé ẹ jẹ́ ó contest kò lè wọlé mo fi dá yín lójú pé kò lè wọlé ó sọ fáwọn boys ẹ̀ náà pé kò lè wọlé láíláí àti set Bashiru Tofa against àti set Babagana Kingibe against àti Atiku gbogbo wọn yóò lè jò wọlé ó ní Babangida wá confess bí báyìí pé òun ti betray àwọn boys òun torí pé òun ti sọ fún wọn tẹ́lẹ̀ wípé Abíọ́lá ò lè wọlé àti ìran òun àtàwọn northerners òun ti betray wọn. Ẹ jẹ́ ká máa kà lọ. It was at this stage that he confessed that he had misled his boys. He had assured them that he would be able to stop Chief MKO Abiola before the process reached the stage of election. He had also assured Chief Abiola that the road was clear for him to seek the presidential election. Ó ṣe ọ̀tún tó ṣòṣì. Ó sọ fún Abiola pé ìrẹ́ Abiola má wọ̀rí àyè ṣí fún ẹ láti contest. Ó sì sọ fáwọn nọ́tánà àwọn boys ẹ̀ tó dáhùn nọ́tánà gbẹ́ fọkàn balẹ̀ kò lè wọlé kódà a ti wọ́nà láti dá dúró síwájú kó tó dásìkò election. He was now in severe difficulty as to what to do. He was sitting on the sharp point of a dilemma. It was either his life or his honor as an officer and a gentleman. He was inclined to settle for the former, his life, and to let go of the latter, his honor. I cut him to say that it would involve the whole country and that we might not be that lucky. The same life that we were trying to save could still be threatened and lost. He agreed with me, looking most concerned. Then he said, this whole problem was caused by my men, and blamed those who pressured him to lift the ban placed on certain persons in December 1991, see chapter 3, which he opened the way for Abiola and Alhaji Bashiru Tofa to enter the presidential race. He also blamed his intelligence officers who told him that Chief Abiola would not get the nomination and that Alhaji Babagana Kingibe would defeat him at the just convention. According to him, they then turned round to tell me the story of how Chief MKO Abiola bought the nomination with millions of naira. He thought these were the source of the problem he faced. At this stage, I had to cut in to remind the president that the report I brought from the just convention did not say that money was not spent by Chief MKO Abiola. In fact, the report said that money was spent by most of the SDP governors, as well as Chief Ato Izeribe, Omoyibo, Dr. Olushola Saraki, Chief Emeka Ojukwu, and others to promote the candidacy of Alhaji Babagana Kingibe and work against Chief MKO Abiola. Tí n bá ń pariwo fún Yorùbá wípé láti ilẹ̀ ló jẹ́ pé we are on our own. Àwa nìkan la dá dúró Yorùbá, àwa nìkan la dá wà nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà o. Igbo will always liaise with the Fulanis. Ṣé gbọ́n tá a kàn rí? Ẹ tún wo tó tún ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ Obi pẹ̀lú Atiku. This is how they have been living so far. Igbo will always be liaising with Hausas, with the Northerners, against Yoruba always. Látàyé Awólọ́wọ̀ ló ti rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Ó dẹ̀ tún sì ń lọ dọ̀la. Kí lẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tí Yorùbá ṣẹ̀? Wọ́n nígbàgbọ́ pé Yorùbá ló bà tàwọn jẹ́ ní ó jẹ́ káwọn rí Biafra gbà during Biafra war. So since then, that hatred is still there till tomorrow. That hatred is still there till tomorrow. So Yorùbá ni mo yẹ sọ pé ní tèmi o, let us face our own problem tiwa ni ká face. Kò sí tó kàn mí pẹ̀lú Biafra, kò sí tó kàn mí pẹ̀lú Northerners, in tó kan èmi nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣọ́ra àwa Yorùbá, ẹ jẹ́ á ṣọ́ra o nípa ìfẹ́kúfẹ́ ìfẹ́ ara àti hatred ọ̀tẹ̀ ká bá lè délẹ̀ lérí. Mo fẹ́ Ọlọ́run bá búra, Ìgbò lè wà lórí oyè kárí Yorùbá nation gbà, Haúsá wọn lè wà lórí oyè kárí Yorùbá nation gbà, Fúlàní ò lè wà lórí oyè kárí Yorùbá nation gbà. Yorùbá náà lálẹ́ lièsì mọ́, lálẹ́ lọ́bì pẹ̀lú ta lè fi délé rí ayọ̀. 2027 ni wọ́n tún ti ń prepare yìí. Gbogbo strategy tí Yorùbá máa fi di president, tí Ìgbò máa fi di president náà wá, gbogbo strategy tí Fúlàní dẹ̀ ṣe máa lórí Ìgbò fi achieve láti dépò ni wọ́n wá. Káwa Yorùbá wá ṣọ́ra ìgbésẹ̀ tá a máa gbé tó bá jẹ́ lóòótọ́ o la fẹ́ bọ́ nínú ogun Fúlàní, otherwise ọlọ́mọ ẹ̀ka fọwọ́ ara wa ṣera wa o. Ẹgbọ́n kan tí wọ́n sọ ń bí Aton Seribe ó lọ sponsor Baba Kanaki Njibe against Abiola. Gbogbo wọn ni wọ́n padà jẹ nínú democracy o, gbogbo wọn náà padà jẹ nínú democracy tó lọ. Bẹ̀tẹ̀ Ọlọ́run wá dójú tì wọ́n ní convention just yẹn. Njibe fail lẹ́yìn tí Àtíkù reluctantly tó ti step down, kò dẹ̀ dárúkọ kó step down Fabiola. Story tí mo mọ̀ dáadáa ni, wọ́n pè wọ́n bá sọ̀rọ̀, kò ever sọ kó step down Fabiola. Ìyẹn Àtíkù ó step down lóòótọ́ bẹ̀ kò dárúkọ kó step down Fabiola, kò dẹ̀ instruct àwọn ọmọ lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ kí wọ́n dìbò Fabiola. But fortunately Abiola won the election convincingly. Wọ́n jọ náwó, wọ́n jọ tákà owó ni. At the end of the day àwọn tí wọ́n bá wọn settle ti promise Àtíkù wípé Àtíkù l'Abiola máa mú as vice, but condition kan wà tó jẹ́ pé Abiola ò ní choice rárá àfi kó mú Njibe tó bá fẹ́ wọlé. Ibẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ là lọ ohun tó transpire tó ṣẹlẹ̀ tí wọ́n fi dìtẹ̀ Yorùbá tó fi mọ̀mọ́ council June 12 ká lè mọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ti pẹ́, mo mọ̀mọ́ máa mọ́rọ̀ ìwá ká lè fi mọ ìyà tí wọ́n ti fi ń jẹ Yorùbá àti irú ìhà tí Fúlàní kọ sí Yorùbá. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ṣe support Fúlàní àti àwa Mùsùlùmí tí ọ̀rọ̀ òye tá ń rò pé Fúlàní jọmọ ìyá wa, Fúlàní ò ń ṣe ọmọ ìyá wa o. Ẹ bí gbogbo àwọn brothers tí wọ́n ti jí gbé, gbogbo àwọn Muslim tán jí gbé, pé mélòó nínú wọn ni Fúlàní jẹ́ kán kírun. Fúlàní tó jí wọn gbé òun kírun, wọ́n tún wá prevent wọn from káwọn gan máa kírun. So these guys are not Muslim, wọ́n kàn fi Islam bojú ni. So èyí tẹ́ ń torí Islam tẹ́ support Fúlàní, Ọ̀yọ́ lẹ́wà o, you are on your own. Wọ́n ń ṣe èèyàn wa rárá àti ẹ̀sùn wọn gbogbo ṣe sí wọ́n yàtọ̀. Ìwà tí Islam kọ̀ òun làwọn gbé wọ̀ lẹ́wù. Ṣé Islam ló ní kán máa fipá bóbìnrin lóbìnrin sùn? Ṣé Islam ló ní kán lọ máa jíyàn gbé kán máa gbowó ńlá lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀? Ṣé Islam ló ní kí wọ́n lọ ra nǹkan ìjà ogun kán máa fi pẹ́ni tí ó ṣẹ̀ káàkiri lẹ̀? Àìmọye ẹ̀mí tí wọ́n ti gbà, wọ́n á dúyàn bí ẹni dú ẹran, wọ́n á yìnbọn pa èèyàn bí ẹni pé onítọ̀hún ò sí kò ní life lára. They are never Muslim. We should stop acknowledging them as our ọmọ ìyá wa ni Mùsùlùmí ni wọ́n ń tí ọmọ ìyá wa o. Èmi láwọn brothers márùn tí wọ́n gbé ní last year, nígbà tí wọ́n release wọn àwọn brothers yẹn tiẹ̀ sá lọ ní kọ̀ọ̀kan mọ́ wọn lọ́wọ́ ni. At the end of the day nígbà táwọn brothers yẹn máa sọ story nítójú wọn rí, wọ́n lọ́ máa fi pa nù àwọn báyìí ní táwọn bá ń kírun, wọ́n máa fi pa nù àwọn báyìí ní àdé ìjọ̀ṣà àwọn yẹn ó jẹ́ Muslim. Ẹjọ́ máa bọ̀rọ̀ wa lọ. In fact, the report had that money was spent by most of the SDP governors. Gbogbo àwọn governors ni wọ́n dì pàpà against Abiola. SDP governors. Àwọn governor nígbà yẹn ṣe mọ̀ wọ́n ti jẹ governor presidential ló kù. SDP governors. Gbólóhà náà. As well as Chief Aton Seribe ṣe gbọ́ ọmọ Igbo òun náà support wọn. Dr. Olúṣọlá Sàràkí ìkan náà Olúṣọlá Sàràkí kan náà tó wá padà ṣe Senate President. Chief Emeka Ojukwu àwọn Igbo gbogbo àwọn tó ń support Baba Kanaki Njibe nìyẹn o. and others to promote the candidacy of Alhaji Babagana Kingibe against MK Abiola tí ṣe Yorùbá. tó bá kàn wá àwọn tó ń pariwo pé àwọn ọmọ ìyá wa Ìgbò náà Ìgbò ń ṣe ọmọ ìyá tèmi mo sọ́rí láti sọ o. ó dùn pé kò sáwó lọ́wọ́ láyé mọ́ kẹ́ máa sọ pé Ìgbò ọmọ ìyá yín kó sọ àlàyé fún yín tí Ìgbò fojú òun rí. Ìgbò ṣe ọmọ ìyá tèmi Yorùbá nìkan lọmọ ìyá mi Yorùbá nìkan ni mo mọ̀ Yorùbá ló kàn mí gbogbo àwọn tó kù yẹn ò kàn mí. Dr. Olúṣọlá Sàràkí okay and work against Chief MK Abiola. My report also confirmed that Chief Abiola spent money to avoid being humiliated by the combined forces of SDP governors and qualified presidential and disqualified presidential aspirants of 1992. In that report, I said that for one man in the person of Chief MK Abiola to withstand these money men and state governments should be the sufficient reason why I thought the process should be allowed to go forward. Torí pé mo bá àná lẹ̀ wàhálà dé o ó sọ fún Babangida bẹ́ẹ̀. I also reminded him, Mr. President, that was one of the subjects the Sultan raised with me in Sokoto in May 1993 when he cancelled that the process should be abandoned. Sultan of Sokoto ó pàṣẹ that process should be abandoned. Gbogbo tó ń jẹ mọ́ ìbò June 12 ẹ gbàgbé ẹ máa túbọ̀ lọ. Sultan raised with me in Sokoto in May 1993 when he cancelled that the process should be abandoned. I asked him to record that we both agreed on my return from Sokoto that it was too late in the day to do that. The president then recalled how he blamed his security officers who did not give him both sides of the issue and how he concluded that MKO was his friend and that Tofa was his brother. I reminded him further that we parted that day with the understanding that whoever won the election would be okay by him. I drew his attention to how we came to the last testament, and wanted to know what happened after May 17, 1993. But he brought me right back to the immediate problem facing him. He agreed with my account, but said that he did not take his boys into confidence, and that he had rejected the security briefs in the face of the report which I gave him. He said that what he told them was that he will be able to stop Chief Abiola at the appropriate time. I then asked him, do you think you have reached that stage now? He said yes and no. It cannot be yes and no. I uttered and continued. With the greatest respect and with the greatest sense of responsibility and with the greatest sense of loyalty to the president, sir, and love for the country, it is too late in the day. He was shocked to my statement without giving a chance for response. I went personal and said, this is not the appropriate time, sir. We have passed that stage. Ibrahim, I can see your problem, but the country will not take it. Wọ́n deliberate lórí pé kí Babangida annul June 12. He was ready, but he was at the crossroad. Àwọn ọ̀ràn ẹ̀ ti instructed, àwọn boys ẹ̀ ti instructed, ẹ̀rù ń bà láti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n kò fẹ́ kọ̀rọ̀ sáwọn ọ̀ràn ẹ̀ lẹ́nu. Ṣùgbọ́n professor yìí ń takú ẹ̀, ó sọ fún pé in tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí tó bá ṣe mistakenly àná June 12 yẹn wàhálà máa dé sí Nàìjíríà o láti June 12 ọ̀hún. Ṣé Nàìjíríà ti wá tòrò? ó sọ fún páwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà ò ní gbà. Ẹ wá máa gbọ́ tí Babangida ṣe. Why he stared at me, I went on. You cannot tell the country this. His countenance changed immediately and he said, the country will just have to take it. He said, I cannot kill myself for the sake of what the country wants. I am sorry. He lamented. It was astonishing to hear a general state that he could not lay down his life for his country. But I understood what he meant. It was clear that General Babangida was in the fix as of June 21, 1993, and was in desperate search of how to escape the wrath of his boys. He had lost the battle over the crucial weekend between June 19 and June 21st at Mina. Military factor. I then proceeded to deal with the questions of who were this they and for what reasons would they want to kill the president and the president-elect if the June 12 elections were announced to go forward. He named them in military and in ethnic categories. Sunni, meaning Sunni Abacha. Àwọn dé ló ti sọ yìí o. Dé tó sọ they will kill me, they will, àwọn tó ń pè ní dé àwọn ló ń kà yìí nínú military. Sunni Abacha. Sunni means General Sunni Abacha. He is supposed to return to civilian rule. Sunni cannot stand the idea of Chief Abiola, a Yoruba, becoming his commander-in-chief at all. That is the statement tí mo fẹ́ kẹ́ gbọ́. Fulani man cannot withstand a Yoruba man to be commander-in-chief at all. Olóṣèlè sí wọn yìí lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ yìí. Ìbànújẹ́ ńlá ló dé bá Fulani lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ fún Tinubu tó ń rúlù yìí. They don't like it at all. They don't tolerate it at all. A kì í ṣe ọ̀rẹ́ wọn. Gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ ẹ̀ support wọn Fulani kò sí nǹkan tán ṣe ẹ lọ mẹ́rin yín wá. Ihun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ rèé o. Ẹ wò láti June 2023 láti June 1993. Kò sí factor kankan tó mú wọn náà June 12 ju pé ìkórìíra àwa Yorùbá. They just don't want Yoruba to be there. Kò sí nǹkan méjì. Sunni meaning General Sunni Abacha is opposed to return to civilian rule. Sunni cannot stand the idea of Chief Abiola, a Yoruba, becoming his commander-in-chief at all. Number one nìyẹn o. Sunni seems to have the ears of the northern leaders that no southerner. Hey, ẹjọ́ ẹ máa gbọ́ bí sá o. Sunni seems to have the ears of the northerners, the northern leaders that no southerner, especially from the southwest, should become the president of this country. Can you imagine that? Àwa dẹ̀ pariwo kiri gbà one Nigeria, one nation, one Nigeria. And this is the hatred they are portraying against us. The Northern Elders Forum wọ́n ti sọ Sunni Abacha ti gbọ́ ó dẹ̀ dúró lórí ẹ̀ lórí resolution wọn that no Yorubas, no southerner, most especially from southwest, must ever become Nigerian president. That is their own conclusion in the north. I would never wonder more when I heard a lot and when I saw a lot of things Tinubu was doing to them then. Kò jà mí lẹ́nu rárá. Ẹni máa mọ̀ bọ́ sí gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe bí ọ̀bọ. Tinubu ṣe bí ọ̀bọ throughout tán fi gbé jọba fún. Ó convince wọn pé you can put your trust in me. And that is why they are shouting now. What they thought wasn't what this man is doing for them. Their thought was that they will still be in power in disguise. They will still be the one to be ruling as they did during Buhari's regime. Buhari kan wà ńbẹ̀ figurehead ni. Anything tó bá náwó sí wọ́n rí mú lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ láyé Buhari. Although in totality Tinubu ò yarí fún wọn náà o, but at least the exigency has been curbed to some extent. Wọn ò free rẹpẹtẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn mọ́. For example, ẹ wo tí mi yẹn ti aláṣẹ ẹgbẹ́ tán dálẹ̀ tán torí ẹ̀gbẹ́ bódèjò mi mọ ibi tó gbà lọ lára wọn. Ara àwọn exigency wọn tí Tinubu gé nìyẹn tó kọ́ọ̀bù nìyẹn. Otherwise they will have done it and wọn kàn tún máa pa Yorùbá lọ èwo ló kàn wọ́n. Ìbọn ti dẹ́gbẹ́lẹ̀ ó ti dálẹ̀ òun rò kó ti gbàgbé gan pàápàá. Bódèjò ti gbàgbé pé rẹ́jíìmù àwọn kọ́ làwọn wà mọ́. Gbogbo òṣì tán ṣe láyé Buhari ló rò páwọn sì lè ṣe gbé. The northern leaders that no southerner, especially from the southwest, should become the president of this country. Sonny seems to rally the northern elders to confront me on the matter. Iṣẹ́ tábàṣà ṣe lè rí yẹn. Ó lọ pe àwọn elders not sí Babangida. Elders to confront me. He is within the sultan, and the northern leaders are of this frame, of this same frame of mind. Where do I go from here? I will not be alive today without the North. I will not have become an officer in the Nigeria army and now the president of Nigeria. I then asked, ṣètìgbọ́n tóun náà wí, North ní northern máa support o. Ó ní tí ó bá sí àwọn yẹn ni òun ò ní di president, òun ò ní débi tó dé nínú army. So táwọn bàbá wọn sọ yẹn òun máa tẹ̀lé. I then asked him, ìwé sọ yẹn wá bi léèrè pé what he would want to do, what he would want done in the circumstances, and he said, I don't want to appear ungrateful to Sonny. He may not be bright upstairs, but he knows how to overthrow government and overpower coup plotters. He saw to my coming to office in 1985, ìyẹn ló overthrow, and to my protections in the many coups I faced in the past, especially the Oka coup of 1990. Ìyẹn ni ó stop coup plotter. Ìyẹn náà ní Abacha mọ̀ pẹ̀ dáadáa. Where he saved me and my family, including my infant daughter. He went on, Sonny, you know, risked his life to get me into office in 1983 and 1985. If he says that he does not want Chief Abiola, I will not force Chief Abiola on him. I just have to end the whole matter and go back to my place of birth. That is the way I feel now. He also named Lieutenant General Dongoyaro. Ara àwọn tí wọ́n contribute sí day tó sọ nìyẹn o. Lieutenant General Dongoyaro and Brigadier General David Mark, who were too close to him and who want the issue resolved within the shortest possible time. In fact, he quoted David Mark as saying, I had shoot Chief Abiola the day NEC pronounced him the elected president. Olohun máa yìnbọn pa Abiola ni níjọ́kíjọ́ tí NEC tó bá announce as president. David Mark sọ pé òun máa shoot ẹni. Ó dùn mí pé gbogbo àwọn nǹkan yóò jáde nígbà tí David Mark wà lórí oyè. Tọ́mọ Yorùbá ti tákù ẹ̀ gbà yẹn. I asked the president what he would want me to do in the face of the threat of his life and the life of the incoming president. He again volunteered another issue from out of the blue, which I shall discuss later. The president was in fact at that stage thinking of the military successor when he said, I wish I can just call my boys and hand over to David Mark and pack my luggage and go to Minna. Torí pé ó ti sú ńgbà yẹn. I wish I can. I thought this was strange, but that was how his mind was working as of that date and time, 1 p.m. on June 1, 1993. On June 21, 1993, he definitely said he would have to retire with the generals, including Sani Abacha and Joshua Dongoyaro, before handing over to David Mark. He was very categorically in this matter. He did not foresee a situation in which Abacha and Dongoyaro could be in one government. These two officers individually saw themselves as the maker of President Babangida and also considered themselves as the heir apparent. The order of successions of General Babangida was an issue which would occur later. I reminded him of one stark fact which he did not quite appreciate. I told him that the report from the Nigeria Election Monitoring Group showed that Chief MK Abiola secured majority vote in all the polling booths located around the army barracks in the country, which meant that it was only the senior officers who, for their selfish reasons, were opposed to the democratic change. He did not respond to this. I also reminded him of the study which the CDS, Chief of Defence Staff, did which demonstrated that the needs for intervene was too high among his junior officers, especially those from the north. He also did not respond. He then volunteered, ó dà pé Chief of Defence Staff gba Brigadier Ajemibe wọn kọ́ nígbà yẹn. He then volunteered the information that the boys had given him an ultimatum at Minna to those between vacating office that week on his own, or else put a seal of conclusions on the annulment of the whole June 12th election that week. As a matter of fact, he said that they wanted to annul the election themselves over the weekend on June 12, 1993, with a single announcement while he was with them at Minna, but that he pleaded with them to give him a few days to work out the modality for doing it so as to give the impressions that he was still in command of the situation. Ṣé ti gbọ́ gbogbo election táwa ń ṣe yẹn, àwọn ti strategize lórí báwo lọ́ọ́ ìfẹ́ cancel ẹ̀ ńgbọ̀ ti rí pé kò pé tó fà. Gbogbo ìyẹn àwa dẹ̀ ń jubilate kiri àrètí èsì àwọn strategize lórí báwo lọ́ọ́ oh God tó ní bó ti jẹ́ Yorùbá. In fact, let's continue. That Nigerian people, okay, impression that he was still in command of the situation. I thought that he was taking the Nigerian people for a ride, but for how long? Then I caught in. It means you have already made up your mind to abort the democratization project. He did not respond. This meant that he had already agreed to the annulment with his boys at the Minna meeting. I decided to probe further. I asked, is that all for the day? Okay, is that all the day? Are there still more? To which he said, yes, geo-ethnic factor. The next set of people unhappy with June 12th was represented by the Sultan of Sokoto, who want him not to undo the many years of Saldana's achievement for the north. Oh mà ṣe o, ọmọ Yorùbá, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa gbọ́. Dídébẹ̀ tí Abiola tí Tinubu débẹ̀ yìí, it means pé wọ́n ti undo achievement Saldana's of Sokoto. Tí Sultan of Sokoto bá nínú òun dùn sí, kí Tinubu gan bọ́ ẹ̀yìn wò, irọ́ tó tóbi ni. Wọ́n ní tó dì sọ́kàn látijọ́ yìí tí wọ́n fẹ́ kí Yorùbá dépò, tí wọ́n fẹ́ bá Yorùbá ṣe rárá, tí wọ́n fẹ́ kí Yorùbá dépò àṣẹ. Ẹgbọ́n kan tó sọ pé Sultan of Sokoto sọ fún Babangida. The next set of people unhappy about June 12th was represented by the Sultan of Sokoto, who want Babangida not to undo the many years of Saldana's achievement for the north. The Sultan told him that the election of Chief MK Abiola, whom he liked as a person and as a fellow Muslim, will enable the Yoruba to reverse the gains which the North had recorded since 1960. He reminded me that the Sultan had sent a message through me to him in May, saying that he should not allow the election to go forward. Suddenly he exploded. The Sultan was right after all. I should have stopped it then, and the country would have settled down by now. He told me that the Yoruba in the presidency were openly parading themselves in the villa, saying that Rankadedesa, that is, Northern or Hausa Fulani hegemony, would soon give way to Kabiesi's Southern or Yoruba hegemony. And he exploded again, banging the table. No way, not here, Professor, not here at all. He offered an apology. He said, sorry, I'm sorry. I am sorry to speak this way. Then he continued. These people just think that without them, Nigeria cannot move forward. Yoruba ló ń bá wí yẹn o. The Igbos should teach them the lesson of history, said the president, choking me to my marrow of my bone, to the marrow of my bones. It was clear that the mistake of 1914 had taken a new turn for General Babangida to speak in that way. And what was the mistake? Joining Yoruba with others. Joining Yoruba with others, amalgamating us. What bothered me was that during the period Yoruba in Abuja had withdrawn to Lagos, holding parties, thereby allowing the analysts to take over Abuja and consolidate General Babangida's, even distance himself from his chief press secretary, Chief Duro Onobule, who was the former editor of Chief Abiola's newspaper, National Concord. Even the Vice President, Admiral Augustus Saikomu from Edo State in the south, was also isolated. He did not know what was going on. Ẹ̀yin Yorùbá, ìtẹ́mi sọ tèmi yé mi. Annulment of June 12, àwọn méjì ní ìran méjì ló ṣe kìíní yẹn. South ò mọ̀ ń pa ẹ̀. Southeast and the North ni wọ́n jọ parapọ̀ ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn pẹ̀lú àwọn nǹkan tá à ń ka ẹ̀. Àwọn boys ẹ̀ tí wọ́n jọ wà nínú army láwọn tó jẹ́ Southeast àti North ni wọ́n jọ parapọ̀ tí wọ́n jọ victimize ẹ̀ àtàwọn Northern Elders Forum àti Sultan of Sokoto. So eré kí lajá tèmi bẹ́kùn Yíbò ṣe, mi ò acknowledge wọn, I'm sorry to say, mi ò acknowledge wọn rárá. Ìtọ́ ti ṣe fún bàbá wa láti ilẹ̀ látàyé Awólọ́wọ̀. Kàmá ní mo fẹ́ kí gbogbo àrònú àti Fúlàní àti Yíbò àtàwùsá kò sájọṣepọ̀ kankan láàrin wa. Wọ́n ti plan fún wa ti pẹ́. They hate us with fault and they are showing it to us. South tún ti wọn ara wa ni wọ́n tẹ́lẹ̀ náà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá dé Delta ẹ borúkọ Yorùbá rẹpẹtẹ, bẹ́ẹ̀ bá dé Benin ní Edo State ẹ borúkọ Yorùbá rẹpẹtẹ. Àwọn local government kan ti ẹ̀ wà tó jẹ́ kìdá Yorùbá ni wọ́n. Ẹ̀dá Gẹ́nẹ́bodè Yorùbá pure náà wọ́n dá sọ sí ọmọ left side Àgbẹ̀dẹ Yorùbá side ní gbogbo wọn. So ńgbà tí nínú Western region ọjọ́ kìíní àná ìbáwọn South sáwà nù wa tájọ wà ní Western region nígbà yẹn. So àwọn East àtàwọn North ni wọ́n parapọ̀ àná June 12. Kò dẹ̀ sí nǹkan kan gbogbo àdáàzọ pé Babangida lówó lọ́wọ́ Abiola kò wà fún kò ṣe kinní kan, ìyẹn kọ́. Torí ethno-religion torí ethnicity ni wọ́n ṣe àná June 12. Táwọn tó ń support wọn náà dẹ̀ mọ̀ nǹkan kan. Ẹ já máa bá lọ máa tó conclude. Máa yẹn try ẹni tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí ọmọ South ni Ọmọrùyì ọmọ South ni. I try to advise the president not to believe in rumors. but he fired back. Don't you know that Chief Abiola has already compiled a list of officers he would retire? Don't you know that he has Yorubas he wants to put in their places? Don't you know he wants to move Abuja? The president went on. Don't you know all these things Abiola rice, Abiola milk, and Abiola vegetable oil currently circulating in the market? These were rumors circulating in Abuja, which Chief Abiola as the president, as the presidential candidate, and the SDP as a party did not forcefully address during this period. These rumors achieved their intended objective. I should say that the authors of these rumors were largely Yoruba security officers who made it their duty to circulate in many of Abiola's parties and file stories to Abuja. I saw many of these reports myself. Àwọn nǹkan tó túbọ̀ ń ba Babangida lẹ́rù nìyẹn, tó dẹ̀ ń ba gbogbo nọ́ọ̀tì náà lẹ́rù, pé tí Abiola bá jẹ president Yorùbá bọ́ nínú ìyà. That is the end of the write-up. Máa yẹn gbìyànjú, ọmọọmọrú yìí gbìyànjú láti convince Babangida to the letter, to the core, that bàbá yìí má ṣe mistake. Gbéjọba fẹ́ni tíjọba yẹ, Babangida yarí. Two factors. Factor wípé ó ń bẹ̀rù àwọn ọ̀ràn ẹ̀, ó support àwọn ọ̀ràn ẹ̀ against Yorùbá. Second factors, ó ń bẹ̀rù àwọn kabas tí wọ́n jọ wà nínú iṣẹ́ ológun kán má pa òun àti ràn òun. We can clearly see that nínú nǹkan tá a kà yìí wípé àwọn guys yìí ò ń ṣe ọ̀rẹ́ wa rárá. Bá Fulani tán, dẹ̀ bá northerners tán. Tí bàbá Tinubu bá wo fídíò yìí, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ bá mi share ẹ̀ bóyá máa rí wò. Kí wọ́n lo premise yìí láti fi control association tí wọ́n máa ní pẹ̀lú àwọn northerners o. Bíbélì sọ pé Christian má ti wá ìsinmi torí pé àárín ọ̀tá ló wà, máa ṣọ́ra. Ó lọ̀rọ̀ wọn o. Tiwa ni wọ́n, Yorùbá wa ni wọ́n. Lóòótọ́ president Nàìjíríà ni wọ́n ṣe president Yorùbá. But ìran Yorùbá yẹn ni wọ́n fẹ́ kó débẹ̀ o. Now that Tinubu has broken the jinx that is there now, gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n sọ nígbà June 12 yìí ó sì wà lẹ́mìí wọn o. Wọ́n fẹ́ kí Yorùbá dépò rárá o. Kódà wọ́n pẹ̀lú àwọn tí wọ́n lé àwọn Fulani nídìí, ẹ lọ máa dalẹ̀ Yorùbá rú, ẹ lọ máa pa wọ́n lọ bó ṣe wù yín. They knows. They can't call them to caution. Àwọn olófò Boko Haram Fulani, àwọn olófò Messmen Fulani, kí ló dé? Ẹ jẹ́ kí Yorùbá lórí wa o. Ẹ jẹ́ ká jí gìrì ká lórí wa o. Enough is enough. That's why I'm going to stop. Àwọn nǹkan tá a kà yìí, ẹ̀rọ kankan bí abẹ́rẹ́ gbọ́n, èmi rí tèmi mú bẹ́ẹ̀, ó jẹ́ kí n túbọ̀ mọ ipò wo ni Yorùbá wà láàrin Nàìjíríà. Ó jẹ́ kí n túbọ̀ mọ ipò wo ni wọ́n tò wá sí láàrin Nàìjíríà. We must be very careful and we must always be looking at our back. Mr. President, Ọlọ́run aṣọ yín o. Ẹ má ṣe gbàdàgbàdà mú àwọn ará bí. Àárín ọ̀tá tó tóbi lẹ́wà. Ìfùtàn bá ń bá yín rẹ́rìn, ọ̀tọ̀ ni tó wà lẹ́mìí wọn, ọ̀tọ̀ ni tó ń ṣe síta. Ó làwọn northerners náà ń fẹnu ara wọn sọ, àwọn Haúsá náà ti ń fẹnu ara wọn sọ́nsìn. Bí wọ́n ṣe fẹ́ Fulanize Nigeria as a whole ni wọ́n wá. They can't even tolerate Yoruba to be commander-in-chief. They just don't want it. Wọ́n ò fẹ́ gbọ́ rárá. Èyí tí Babangida dẹ̀ sọ nínú ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ni pé ṣé ti rí MKO ní gbé Abuja padà sí Lagos, ṣé kò ní. And that was why they revoked nígbà tàbí Tinubu tó sọ pé òun máa relocate some part of Central Bank padà sí Lagos State. That was why they revoked pé láyé òjò. Láti ìgbà yẹn náà ti strategize báwo làwọn ṣe fẹ́ gbá Tinubu dànù ní second term. Ìgbà yẹn làwọn Yorùbá náà dẹ̀ ti strategize. How are we going to move out of this shit old mess before the expiration of Tinubu's regime? Otherwise, tààrà bí bá padà gbàjọba, Sorry is our case. I rest my case till adjudication day. Thank you very much.
Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ jí gìrì.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká gba òmìnira tiwa.
Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ jí gìrì.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká gba òmìnira tiwa. Òmìnira ni Yorùbá fẹ́ o nílẹ̀ bàbá wa. Òmìnira ni Yorùbá fẹ́ o nílẹ̀ bàbá wa. Ọmọ aláṣọ ò gbọ́dọ̀ wá kìsà, ọmọ ẹlẹ́ran ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́gun.
Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ jí gìrì.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká gba òmìnira tiwa.
Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ jí gìrì.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká gba òmìnira tiwa.
Òmìnira ni Yorùbá fẹ́ o nílẹ̀ bàbá wa. Òmìnira ni Yorùbá fẹ́ o nílẹ̀ bàbá wa. Ọmọ aláṣọ ò gbọ́dọ̀ wá kìsà, ọmọ ẹlẹ́ran ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́gun.